Hello everyone and welcome to Holy Redeemer Catholic Church here in Kissimmee, Florida. Saying a prayer for everybody today. COVID cases are really on the rise in Florida. Today's June 27th. But folks, I wanted to talk about today Carlo Acutis, who is a 15-year-old child or teen who passed away in 2006. And he was going to be beatified in October in Assisi in Italy. Now, Carlo was an Italian kid who died of leukemia in 2006, and the Catholic Church and Pope Francis is really behind this, and it's a good thing, and they're going to make him, he's on the road to becoming a saint, and he's going to be the patron saint, the official patron saint of the Catholic Church and of the world, of the internet. And this is a very significant development because, for a long time, the church and science has been at odds with each other. If you remember all the Dan Brown movies of about 10 years ago, Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code, that was what some of that was based upon. And this teen, he was actually a coding genius. And what he did was he created a website on an old computer. But because he was a genius, he actually made this code and he made this website where he was researching Catholic miracles and documenting the Catholic miracles and logging them. So as we speak today, there are hundreds of parishes that actually research that he compiled for actual research and websites. So he's done a lot of good for the Catholic Church and for the world. And not to go into a whole deep story about how you become a saint in the Catholic Church, but it's a long process. And what it comes down to is you need to have two bona fide miracles. Now, he was credited with a miracle. He's credited with a lot of miracles, actually, but the Catholic Church and Pope Francis has recognized a miracle that he did. There was a child who was from Brazil, a boy, and he was suffering from a very rare pancreatic condition that was considered inoperable, impossible, and the child had no chance of living. And the local priest made a prayer to Carlo, and through a miraculous event, the child was healed. So Pope Francis and the official organization that investigates this for the Catholic Church has confirmed it. So now in October, he's going to be beatified. Carlo will be. And then, so he essentially needs one more miracle. He needs one more miracle to be canonized, and then that's the next step to become a saint. So folks, I wanted to tell you about that. It's very important. But the video that I'm going to do right now, part and parcel with this, I guess I could have actually done 3 videos in this, and I hope you guys continue to watch, because this church that I'm at right here, Holy Redeemer, has become a very important church for my wife and I. This is the church that we go to, where our support group is. For those who don't know, we lost our son Matthew to suicide last August. It's a year now, and we're starting up an organization in his honor. It's going to be called the Waffles Foundation. It'll be a suicide prevention foundation, and we're also going to be giving out musical instruments. But I wanted to turn you around and show you this wonderful church and just talk about this. Okay, so this is Holy Redeemer Church here in Kissimmee. So now, again, you don't have to be Catholic to come here, but this is where my wife and I come, and we have a grief support group here. It's for parents who've lost a child. So if anybody's in the Florida area, the group meets on Mondays, which works out for me because my days off are Sunday and Monday. But you don't have to be Catholic to come here. But if you want to come to a really nice church, this is a wonderful place to come. Now, if you go to your hotel concierge, probably give you churches. Hi, folks. So we have a special blessing right here. I'm going to digress a little bit. I'm here with Father Juan at Holy Redeemer Church, and he's going to describe the process of becoming a saint in the Catholic Church. So it's really interesting. He's a great guy. So stand by for Father Juan. Okay, 1 second. Hi, folks. I'm here with Father Juan, and he's going to describe the process of becoming a saint. Hi, Father.
Hello, how you doing?
Great, Father.
I cannot really explain that because it's a difficult process that the church does and study with very careful details and investigation of the life of the person. And one of the things that really established more than anything else has to be something more mystical than anything else. And it has to be with the first miracle, just to go and start at least with the process of beatification, which Carlo is going right now into the process. The first miracle happened. So this is great because he's going to be the new saint of the internet, everything that is happening, because he was very good on that and was doing a lot of ministry. His life, precisely one of the things that really shows a person who is to become a saint, or his life is being a saintly life, is the virtues, as a heroic virtues. And he was because everything that he did at the young age, he was called to preach God, and everywhere he went, even in the school, in the streets, and the internet, and every place he went. So he was always a good testimony for the people. And this is what we are called today. One of the things I'm going to invite you more than anything else, more than explaining the process, which is very long and long studies and everything, I will invite you to say, every one of us in the world had the material to become a saint. All we had to do is to recognize the beauty and the greatness that is inside of us because of God given to us, especially the young ones. You young ones, don't let anyone tell you that you are bad, that you are ugly, or that you are horrible, because none of that is true. You are beautiful, you are talented, you are capable, and you are good. All you have to do is to recognize it and take it into your heart and say, I'm good, I was made by God, and I'm going to live with God, and God will make me shine and all the beauty that is inside of me. For all of you who are sad or right now depressed or anything, just to let you know, there is a lot of hope in there. There is goodness everywhere. And let me tell you, any one of you are not a mistake. Because if you are alive, because God wants you to be alive, because God has a plan for you. What that means is there is a lot of wonderful things coming up to you. Just know about it and get to know. How you know it? Talking to the one who created you. He created you wonderful and amazing, which is God. He will let you know all the goodness that is in you. The Spirit will help you and guide you to become a saint, as all our saints, and now our beautiful Carlo, who is in the process. God bless you.
God bless you, Father. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. So I'd like to thank Father for that. Was really a special surprise. I mean, I'm here walking around. But folks, I guess I could make this, so that's about Carlo, and I hope Carlo becomes, I know he's going to become a saint. I know it's going to happen. So now I want to talk about, this is probably a little bit long of a video, and I appreciate you staying on and watching, but I'm going to show you a place where I've spent a lot of time of late. I mean, today I'm wearing my crucifix. I really, it's a very hard video to do in a sense that, I guess it's symbolic that the name of this church is Holy Redeemer, because I myself feel like I need redemption, because after your child dies in such a manner, I mean, not to go through the whole story, Matt went up to a hotel and he fell 17 stories, just to give you that information. But I can't tell you how bad it feels to be so bonded with a person in your life. I mean, my wife and I are extremely close, and I'm so bonded with her too. But there's people in my life I can't even go into, but it's just, I was so bonded to my son. I mean, we were extremely close, and when someone you love so much, your child, your only child, someone you just thought was going to be there with you always through thick and thin, which he was, who was never judgmental of anything that I did, anything that bad happened in my life. He was never judgmental. He was always supportive. When you lose that in your life, it's so very hard. And, not to go into a whole big thing, but I wanted to be a priest for a while myself. I thought about it for a long time, and I realized that I wanted to have a family. So I didn't become a priest, but my sister and I and my mom had a Hallmark store for 25 years, and we always considered that our ministry. It was a place of business, but I have a video on what that looked like, but it was our ministry, and that ended in 2014. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I kind of made a compromise, and but now, after losing my son, I have to tell you, my faith has not been good the last year. I do the best I can for everybody. I try to always emphasize, one of the jobs I had in my life was the Dream Squad, and I always try to carry that to work, and I always try to carry that to my relationships with people, and whether it be in business or whether it be anywhere. But it's not about being fake. It's just about not trying to burden everybody with what you're feeling. But I have to tell you, the last year or so for me since this has happened has been a tremendous strain on my faith. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Carlo needs another miracle to become a saint. And I think, again, like I told you, he does have other ones down there, but I myself am praying for a miracle because we're going to embark on this foundation, Matt's foundation, the Waffles Foundation, and I'm hoping to make it big with the help of a good friend of mine named Lorraine, and my sister's going to be helping out a lot, and my brother, and so many people, a guy named Lewis who's like family to us. There's so many people, Matt's friends, Tyler and Zach and Max, so many people who are coming forward that I can't even begin to mention them. But part of the miracle that I'm asking for is a redemption of my faith, because I was very lucky or blessed as a person. I never had anything bad happen to me. I mean, you know, I really can't even say it. I was very blessed, and I guess you could say maybe I was so protected, but somehow this thing happened, and it's let me tell you folks, it is the worst possible thing. If you're out there watching, you know, if you're late today for work, or you're doing something stupid, your favorite pot burns on the stove, or you know, something like that, it's nothing. When you get that phone call, which I did, and you have those police officers come up to your home and they tell you that news, and you think, you know, you're expecting your child, or, you know, in this case he was a man, he was 27, you're expecting your son to come that afternoon after you come home from work, and you get that news that he died in such a manner. I can't begin to tell you how I felt, how I feel every day, and I try to, like I said, and I'm also thankful for a lot of people at work who take the time to listen to me, and when it's appropriate, you know, and I can't tell you what that's done to my faith. I'm a very visual person, and again, if you're watching it this long, I appreciate it, because, you know, on YouTube, a lot of people watch a video for 2 or 3 minutes, and that's why I did all that in the beginning of the video, telling you about the saint and Carlo, and I really think hope he becomes it. But a lot of people will turn it off after 2 minutes, and thank you for watching if you're still watching through this whole thing. I know it's not easy, and I hope somehow I'm going to be an inspiration to the parents out there who've lost a child, because it's so impossible. But going back to myself being visual, the way I could describe it, if anyone remembers the old Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, the first Superman movie that he made back in 1978, I believe it was made. And in that movie, no, I'm sorry, it was actually the second movie, the 1980 movie, when he was with the three villains. That's the movie I'm talking about. But in that movie, he has the Fortress of Solitude, and he has all the crystals which give him power. And I guess the way I describe my faith right now is that, if you remember in that movie when he decides to marry Lois Lane, and he renounces like his power and he becomes a regular man, the whole Fortress of Solitude kind of melts down, and it melts to nothing. It all disintegrates, it melts, the crystals are all melted, and that's what happens. That's how he leaves it, because that becomes his choice. But little known to him, the villains come around and he needs to become Superman again. So he doesn't know why. Look, I have to go back. I think it was like in the North Pole. I have to go back to try to regain my power. And he goes back to the Fortress of Solitude, which is all like destroyed. And he's in there and he's like yelling and he's kind of mad and he's confused. And he goes up and he finds this green crystal. And the green crystal was the thing that actually called out to him when he first realized that he was from another planet, and his parents in Kansas told him that his story of how he came to Earth. This green crystal was the thing that started everything. So he goes back to the Fortress of Solitude and he finds this green crystal. And the green crystal is the only thing that's left from the entire fortress. So I guess that is a good description of where my faith is right now. I mean, today I knew I was coming to the church, and I wore my crucifix that I never came off my neck for probably about 30 years. But I haven't been wearing it mostly this year because I don't feel like I'm not a poser, and I just don't feel like I'm in the right place. But where my faith is right now is all I have left is that green crystal. And I'm hoping through Holy Redeemer Church, through the foundation, that's my prayer to Carlo, for me, for my miracle, that I want the miracle of my faith to come back and to understand more of where my son was. But just to give you a little description as to where I am right now in my faith, that's really where it's at. And you know, the green crystal is there, and I never pass anybody by that needs any help. I'm always open to everybody, but you know, I can't begin to tell you. You lose a child and you question. And, you know, for those of you watching or those of you who, whatever, it's a serious question that you have, because you say to yourself, why do some of these evil people live in the world? I know Job asked all of these questions. Why do these evil people live in the world? Why are some people brought back? I mean, my son was very unlucky. I mean, he was up in that hotel, and when he made that decision, you know, or did he make the decision? I couldn't even tell you. But when he went over that glass, and fell 17 stories, I just guess that I say to myself, you know, he had never done anything like that before, and I say, why was he so unlucky? Why couldn't someone just come and just been fixing the light bulb or just cleaning the floor? You know, he was left up there all by himself. Why couldn't he? You know, why couldn't something just collapsed or something could have happened that he wasn't able to do that? I hope to know the answer one day, but that's why my faith is the way it is right now. But I feel like it's renewing, and I feel like the green crystal is glowing, because I think this foundation is going to be amazing, and I really think we're going to do a lot of good. But like I say, it's a very hard thing, because, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. Matt was not a religious church-going person, but he was the first person who'd be a friend at school. People loved him. He was light. He'd bring his guitar over and, you know, make you feel better. He wasn't judgmental. He didn't care whether I mean, I know we got a whole thing going on right now, but he didn't care whether you were Chinese or black or whatever. All you had to have been would be at his funeral, and you would have seen the outpouring of love and attention and pure love from every race you could imagine, every creed, every age group, because he was just that kind of person. I mean, was he perfect? No. I mean, he wasn't, but he was a very good person, and I know that maybe this is his role. I don't know. Maybe one day there'll be miracles attributed to him. I really don't know, but we can only say that. But I'm going to show you right now. This is a rosary garden. This is a rosary garden where I've spent a lot of time lately, and this is where I walk around and I contemplate. So if you guys are ever in Kissimmee and you have problems or whatever, obviously it'd be nice to come to the church, but it's a wonderful place to come and pray and say the rosary. So I'm going to close the video with this walk around here, and thank you for staying on so long, and I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to show you this little walk around area now where I've spent so much of our time and so much time contemplating over the last 11 months. So this is the Rosary Meditation Garden where I've spent so much of my time these last 11 months contemplating the passing of my son. I'm going to just not talk as I walk around, and if you guys want to just do that too, say a prayer. But this is a great place to come. It's Holy Redeemer Church here in Kissimmee, and you're free to come at any time to walk around and pray the rosary or just come and think. This is where I've spent a lot of time this past 11 months. So